Welcome to the iPad Possibilities Podcast, episode 48, We Rule and Plants vs. Zombies HD. Well, once again, we joined to talk about the iPad, and today I'm taking a break from music. We'll have a couple more episodes to go on music, at least one. But for this week, I want to take a break from that as I've been doing all these episodes the past 2 days here with WWDC. And I want to take a break and do kind of a fun episode on some very addictive games for the iPad. This, I think, should be a great episode for some new iPad users out there as you start to play these very addictive games. I want to offer some good hints, tips, and kind of what these games are and why people are so addicted to them. And those two games are, of course, WeRule and Plants vs. Zombies. So that's what today's episode is all about. It should be a bit shorter than the past two episodes, but I wanted to just have a break from music for this week here and kind of dive into some games, right? Because the iPad is a great gaming device, and these are two of the best games out there for the iPad. So what is WeRule? Well, WeRule is basically a Farmville clone for the iPad. It's a game where you actually rule your own kingdom and you can interact with others buying from their shops and things. But I've never played Farmville, but from what I've seen, from what I've heard, WeRule is in all accounts better than Farmville. And if you don't want to get into the Facebook world, you don't have to with WeRule. And with Farmville now coming to the iPhone, possibly the iPad as well, WeRule might have some competition here. But from the demo I saw, WeRule on the iPad is far better than that on with Farmville on the iPhone. So with WeRule, you own your own little kingdom, and you start by gaining money and experience by growing crops and all those different things. So that's kind of what it is. Let me go over some different strategies now on how to improve upon it. So the basic strategy here is you want to earn as much coins and experience points as possible in the shortest amount of time. Now, the way to do this is, first off, in the beginning, by growing crops. You'll notice as you advance, you'll have some access to some different crops, but you'll notice the shorter the duration of the crops, the better the experience points you'll get and the better the coins you'll get if you're willing to go back and back and back again to harvest. But if you're willing to wait longer, you can have the convenience of just harvesting twice a day or once a day. So the strategy really in the beginning is to harvest as much corn, as much of the very quick time crops as you can, because you will get a great deal amount of experience points that way. So as you advance through the game, once you reach the stage 18, level 18, that's where things start to get really great as far as being able to advance levels quickly. Because at stage 18, you get access to those orange groves. And with the orange groves, every orange grove you harvest, you get 50 experience points, which is quite a lot in this game. So 50 for each orange grove. And they harvest every 6 hours. And they don't rot. They don't die out like crops do. But every 6 hours, as long as you harvest them, you'll get 50 experience points for each orange grove. And the real strategy here, once you get to stage 18, is just build out those orange groves and have your whole, kingdom full of orange groves. And then you'll be advancing levels really quickly. Every 1 or 2 days, you'll advance levels without really needing crops. Crops will definitely help you, but orange groves are really key. And once you reach level 26, you'll gain access to ruby groves, which will give you 120 experience points and 100 coins, I believe. And that is kind of the next stage from the orange groves. So the best strategy, I think, as far as experience points and gaining that and advancing through the different levels, is reach level 18 as fast as you can and start saving up your cash to buy these orange groves and overtake your entire kingdom with them, and kind of get the big dragon caves and stuff won't help you as much as these orange groves will. So that's the biggest strategy I think I could advise here. Now to amass, mounts a great deal amount of money, the magic crops will come the key. These come in every now and again, but right now we have magic asparagus and magic cauliflower. So with these crops, the cauliflower, every 12 hours you get 350 XP and 2,000 coins. So this is a better value than the ruby groves. You get actually than the the orange groves. That you get 50 XP every 6 hours. So it's 100 XP every 12 hours, so it's less value than those, but you're able to plant more of the orange groves, which makes it that much more valuable. So the magic crops are really going to be key once you have access to those to start building up your funds so you can buy more orange groves and more land and things like that. So that's kind of the strategy that gain more cash input. And then from there, you'll have access to Mojo, which you can buy, but I'd strongly recommend not buying and not getting sucked into buying the Mojo because there's other ways to get Mojo for free, and if you just wait, you'll get the Mojo. And unless you're really impatient, Mojo's out there, but it is expensive. So I'd wait on the Mojo and just be patient and wait until it comes. And with that, I just want to say WeRule is highly addictive, so if you're afraid of wasting all your time, this game will take it from you. And another thing to note is this game constantly changes and is constantly being improved. Very soon here we'll have something called Realms, and I'm not sure what that is. But the cool thing is that this game is server-based, so if you have multiple iPads, multiple iPhones, or iPod Touches, you can grab WeRule on any of those devices, and since it's all cloud-based, it knows exactly where you're at in that game and will load up the appropriate game for you, which is very cool, something that I wish more games did. It's that cloud solution, which is going to be more and more important over the next few years. So, the WeRule game plugs into the ++ community, so you can use that same username and password, and I think eventually it'll plug in with the Game Center coming out with iOS 4. It is a very addictive game and a lot of fun, so I check out WeRule. It is absolutely free, and the iPad version is ad-free, but the iPhone version is ad-supported. And one quick thing before I leave the WeRule game is there's multiple versions of it. For the iPad, I recommend the gold version because it'll actually change the orientation as you flip the screen. The original version does not do that, oddly enough. So I'd check out WeRule Gold for the iPad, and then any of the WeRule versions for the iPhone or iPod Touch would be great. So that's WeRule, a fantastic game that if you want to friend me on WeRule, my username is Possibilities10. So check it out, and it's a great game. And if you have any questions or comments or feedback or strategy that you have and you found as you played WeRule, please send it to iPadPossibilities@gmail.com and 209-542-iPad. I'd love to share that with everyone else as we all start playing games with the iPad. So the other very addictive game and very fun game is Plants vs. Zombies. Now, you might have heard of this before. It's on multiple platforms. There's web versions of this. But Plants vs. Zombies HD, it's a $10 application for the iPad. And they've got it for iPhone, but I held off because I knew they would have a special version for the iPad. I knew once I get it, I'd be sucked into it and all that. And basically the premise of this game is as it sounds, Plants versus Zombies. You are the plant. You basically are a farmer that plants different plants that are alive and attack these zombies. And your strategy is to use these plants to fend off the zombies from overtaking the home and attacking you. So that's kind of the premise. You use plants to kill zombies. And I just wanted to go over some quick strategy hints of Plants vs. Zombies as I've been playing it more and more. First off, onions are going to be really key to amassing amounts, basically lots of sun. And if you're new to the game, sun is really the power, the growth that you use to build these plants. So the more sun you have, the faster you can build plants, the faster you can attack things, faster you can defend. So sun is really key. And onions are a great tool, a great plant to use to force zombies into the center of the gameplay. And what that will enable you to do is that will enable you to build sun on those outer 2 rows, full as far as you want, and have a bunch of sun growth. And then you can utilize the inner portion of the game board to use for strictly attack and defending plants. So that's a really key strategy that I've discovered as I've played more and more of this. And I've also discovered having 2 rows of onions is really key. So the rows closest to where the zombies attack you have 2 rows of onions on the very outside rows there. So that'll keep the jumpers from getting to your sun plants, and if they eventually break through by eating through your onions, that way you'll have an extra row there for security. So 2 rows of onions on the outer rows. And the other big thing I've found when playing Plants vs. Zombies is the cattail is going to be one of the biggest purchases you can make. One of the best purchases you can make. So save up for that cattail, because these little suckers are amazing. You plant them on the lily pads. So if you're in a water level, you plant them on lily pads, and they attack to any row. So any row you need attacked, you have a cattail that can attack, and it sees the closest zombie and will attack that. It'll attack air zombies and land zombies, and is the most versatile and high power plant I could think of. So one real good strategy, I think, is to buy that plant as soon as possible, and once the game starts, amass as much sun as you can, and then start building those cattails up as quickly as possible, because those guys will be a great plant to start attacking those zombies with. The other build-up plant, I like to call these build-up plants that you can just start building up, are the star fruits. These are only 125 sun points to get, and with these, they kind of attack different rows as well, just like the cattail. And I love putting these next to the lake so they can attack the zombies in the lake before they reach those cattails. And the star fruit are really another great fruit to have. Now, with all that said, I'd also recommend having some explosion plants that you can have to basically buy time. At the very beginning of the game, it's great to have these explosion type plants to buy time, to build up that sun, to build up the cattails and all those things. So have some explosion plants that you can use to basically buy time. That's another good strategy I'd recommend. And also having pumpkins are great to protect all your plants without needing strict protecting gravestones or whatever to make sure zombies don't eat up your plants. So those are some of my quick tips as far as Plants vs. Zombies, and some good strategy tips and all that. And the one thing I'm trying to still figure out is survival mode. I have yet to get through the 40 different levels of survival mode, the 40 waves. So if anybody has some tips on how to survive 40 different waves of that survival mode, I'd love to hear, because that's the one achievement I have yet to get. So Plants vs. Zombies, great game, and highly addictive, and I just wanted to just throw out these 2 games with some strategy I've found as I played them, and kind of what they are, and especially for new iPad users, I think this is good stuff to learn, so you don't have to waste your time in trying to develop these strategies, and might help some new users out and maybe some veteran users out as far as advancing in the game and all of those different things. And just like WeRule, I'd love feedback on this. So you can send feedback at iPadPossibilities@gmail.com and 209-542-iPad to send in your voicemail comments. And I'd love to play those back to have other people learn about your strategies and things like that. But I thought it'd be fun to do just one episode here on some different games and some strategies that I'm really addicted to and have a lot of fun with. And I thought it'd be great to have you guys send in your feedback. What kind of strategy are you using to advance in WeRule and Plants vs. Zombies? What are your take on these games? Have you found other games you're addicted to? So send all that feedback in. That'd be greatly appreciated for the other listeners as well as myself. So with that said, you can support this podcast in one of a couple ways. The first way is in iTunes. Simply rate this show and review this show in iTunes. And if you run across problems with this show, audio or otherwise, please send me an email, as I gave you my email address earlier. And that's the best way I can help you address those concerns and improve the show. Leaving a review on iTunes with negative stuff such as audio doesn't really help me out because I can't really communicate with you or find the problem that way. So leaving a review is great, but sending feedback is also great as well. To support the show, you can also become a premium member of this podcast. And what that enables you to is basically finding out about the free applications before anyone else does. I put you on a listserv, so when free apps come from the developers, and some are very costly, $20 applications I have been sent free promo codes for, you'll be the first to know and the first to gain access to those. And I should note, I believe most of these codes are for US only, but some also other great benefits of being a premium user is you get the shows Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You get ad-free versions of the shows and all sorts of other things. So go to the possibilitiesnetwork.com to find out all the information there about the premium version of this show. You can also support this show by purchasing the iPad Possibilities podcast app in the App Store for $2.99, and that app gives you the shows Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on your iDevices with a couple video shows that'll pop in every now and again. So those are the best ways to support this show. And if you would like to find just more information on this show and other shows, you can go to thepossibilitiesnetwork.com. So that concludes the kind of brief episode, but I wanted to just have a little fun episode on different games available for the iPad and some strategy. So that kind of concludes this episode, and I'll return for the Friday-Saturday episode this week. And this is Tim chatting with the iPad Possibilities podcast, and we'll speak again then.